People seeking psilocybin mushrooms for psychoactive experiences face a particularly tragic form of misidentification, accidentally consuming deadly species while looking for ones that just alter consciousness. This overlap between recreational mushroom use and lethal poisoning creates deaths where people thought they were taking a calculated risk for a psychedelic experience, but instead ingested toxins that destroyed their organs. The superficial resemblance between some psilocybin species and deadly mushrooms creates dangerous confusion. Both might grow in similar habitats: wood chips, mulched areas, grassy fields. Both might be small brown mushrooms without distinctive features. Visual similarity isn't evidence of chemical similarity, but foragers relying on appearance don't always understand this. Psilocybin mushrooms have identifying characteristics. They typically bruise blue when handled due to oxidation of psilocybin compounds. They grow on specific substrates like dung or certain types of wood, and they have particular spore colors. But these features can be subtle, misinterpreted, or mimicked by coincidence in toxic species. A mushroom might bruise slightly dark, and an eager forager interprets this as the diagnostic blue bruising of psilocybin species. Galerina marginata, the deadly lawn mushroom, grows in habitats overlapping with some psilocybin species. It's small and brown and unremarkable. It contains amatoxins in lethal concentrations. People looking for psilocybe species have picked Galerina instead and died from the mistake. Foliatina species present similar dangers: small brown mushrooms containing amatoxins, growing in grassy or mulched areas where people search for psychoactive species. The morphological similarity is close enough that without careful examination, misidentification is easy. Psychological factors compound the danger. People seeking intoxication might ignore early poisoning symptoms, attributing them to the expected psychoactive effects. Nausea and discomfort could be interpreted as normal responses to psilocybin when they're actually warning signs of amatoxin poisoning. This attribution error delays recognition that something is seriously wrong. Legal concerns create dangerous treatment delays. Someone who's consumed what they thought were magic mushrooms but is actually experiencing poisoning might hesitate to seek medical help because they fear prosecution for illegal drug use. They wait, hoping symptoms will resolve, while amatoxins destroy their liver. Medical amnesty laws exist in some jurisdictions specifically to address this problem. They protect patients from prosecution when seeking emergency treatment for drug-related medical crises. The public health rationale is clear: we want people to get help when they need it, and fear of legal consequences shouldn't prevent life-saving treatment. Harm reduction messaging must acknowledge reality. Some people will seek psilocybin mushrooms regardless of legal status or warnings. Given that reality, harm reduction focuses on minimizing danger, the absolute necessity of expert identification before consuming any wild mushroom, the danger of relying on internet descriptions or advice from friends, and the availability of medical amnesty. Case studies of deaths from misidentified magic mushrooms follow predictable patterns. Someone seeks psychoactive mushrooms, identifies them based on inadequate information, consumes them expecting a trip, experiences gastrointestinal distress they attribute to normal effects, delays seeking help due to legal fears, finally presents to emergency services in severe distress and dies or requires liver transplant from amatoxin poisoning. The tragedy is compounded because these deaths are completely preventable. If the person had submitted specimens for expert identification before consumption, if they'd sought medical help immediately when symptoms began, if they'd understood that deadly and psychoactive species can look similar, any of these interventions could have saved their life. The internet spreads identification guides for psilocybin mushrooms, but these guides are often created by amateurs, contain inaccuracies, and don't adequately emphasize lookalike dangers. Online forums discuss identification, but crowdsourced answers from anonymous users aren't reliable for decisions with lethal consequences. Some advocates for drug policy reform argue that prohibition itself creates these dangers. If psilocybin mushrooms were legal and regulated, people could obtain them from verified sources rather than foraging blindly. This argument has merit, but doesn't help people in current legal environments who are already seeking these mushrooms. For those determined to forage, professional mycological consultation is mandatory. This means mycological societies, university programs, or professional mycologists, people with training and equipment to definitively identify species. Not apps, not internet guides, not confident friends. The stakes are binary. You're either consuming a psilocybin mushroom that will give you a temporary psychedelic experience, or you're consuming an amatoxin-containing mushroom that will destroy your liver and potentially kill you. There's no middle ground, no partial error. This binary outcome demands absolute certainty in identification, which recreational foragers rarely achieve.